that. I don't know what to do with this or that. And all of us are creative if we open ourselves to paying attention to the world around us and take those little tweaks that we get in our brain and write them down or put them on your voice memo on your phone, something of that sort so that you can remember things. For instance, I've been driving past for years a used furniture store that has a great big banner out front that covers the entire front of their entire building that says, "Why didn't anybody ever tell me about this place?" Now, I think that's a terrific sign to put on a major road. People look at it and they go, "Oh, everybody must be talking about this place except me." So I took that idea and tweaked it a little for one of my consultees, and now she's using it. So if you look on, I don't know, magazines, on the internet, when you're out shopping, on hang tags on clothing, on signs, if you listen to people. I was in a store the other day and they were debating about whether or not they wanted to buy something, and they said to the salesperson, "Oh, let me sleep on it." Just a standard phrase, right? But I thought, sleep on it. Would that be a cool name for a sleeper sofa sale or for a laminated sign to stick on the sleeper sofa in your shop to indicate that it is a sleeper sofa? So that the shoppers will say, "Oh, wait, that's a cool idea. I want a sleeper sofa." So leaving yourself open to inspiration means not having that narrow. That explained it well, Colleen?
I love that. I love this topic because Napoleon Hill is the author of a very well-known book. It was published in the 1920s and it's called The 17 Laws of Success. You might also know his other famous title is Think and Grow Rich. And in that book, he talks about how there are actually a very, very, very small percentage of original ideas, like very small percentage of original ideas. The majority of the rest of us actually recreate ideas that have already been created. And if you look in the auto industry, I mean, automobiles, for all intents and purposes, pretty much look the same. I mean, they have different, differences here and there, but they all pretty much look the same. And engines are pretty much created the same way. And then each manufacturer sort of tweaks that. So I'm a really big fan of why reinvent the wheel. And there's amazing ideas all around us, amazing ideas. And one thing that I do that I carry around on my phone is I have the Notes app right there. And one of the notes that I save to the top, if you can see, is inspiration for our clients. So when I am out and about, it could be at the grocery store and they might have a really cool sign, or I might like some verbiage I see, I write it down and I just pop open my little notes thing and I stand there and write it down. It could be a billboard, sometimes I'm driving in the car with my husband and I see a really cool billboard and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that saying. I'm gonna write that down, and I write it down and then I recreate it for it's so much fun because it's just inspiring and creative without you having to sit down and think of it.
And by recreate, when Colleen says recreate, she doesn't mean steal it. She doesn't mean appropriate it. She means use it for inspiration for your own message. One of the great ways that you can get billboards and signs and things like that you've never seen before is drive a different way to work. Drive a different way back home from work. Just get your brain out of that automatic, I'm watching here, I'm going to turn there, and start looking around you. I love driving places, or I love being a passenger when I normally am driving, because I get to look around when somebody else is driving and see all sorts of things. I think, I've been driving down that road for 5 years and I never saw that. So that's a great way to do it. Another way to get inspiration is to take a look at the Google Doodle every day. I mean, there might be something really cool. It might be Frida Kahlo's birthday. Or it might be the day Napoleon left for Elba and he was banished to a desert island. You could use something about that. Ooh, banished to a desert island. How
Okay,
can
I
I
don't
use
think a
that?
lot of people know about Google Doodle. So you should share about Google Doodle. I didn't know you knew about Google Doodle.
Google Doodle is simply the little doodle, the little drawing that Google puts up usually every day, not every day, on their search engine. If you type in google.com, it'll say Google, or it'll have some little drawing that has Google's kind of hidden in it. And if you want to get inspiration from doodles that were past, you can actually type in google.com/doodles, and it'll show you all the doodles it's ever had. So you can use that. You can use the inspiration we talked earlier about holidays and weird days and pickle week and things of that sort. You can even use something that you learned from another reseller. For instance, I'll never forget this. This was like 20 years ago. Sue McCarthy handed me her business card, and on her business card it said, internationally known. I'm thinking, this is a consignment shop in St. Louis, internationally known. Well, of course, she said, it's internationally known. My daughter lives in Paris.
Okay, and I give our international expansion credit to Karen Smith of Found Consignment because she was our very first client who did some transacted business with us, who was out of the country. And I said, oh my gosh, we're now an international country. That she was our very, very first one. We have others since then, but she was our very first one. So thank you, Karen from Found Consignment, for taking us and making us an international company.
And just a parting word before we leave you today, be very careful also to notice things that might be missteps, that might be oops, that might be mistakes. I just joined last night or this morning a Facebook group that's called Vintage Marketing Tips and Tricks. Vintage Marketing Tips and Tricks. They refer to themselves by their initials, VMTT. Now, it might be hard to visualize, but VMTT, when you glance at it, looks like vomit.
Oh, God.
So be very, very careful and notice that, ooh, maybe I better be sure to name my store differently, use a different moniker. I used to volunteer at Women's Exchange in Sarasota, Florida, and their website was womensexchange.com. Unfortunately, if you glance at that, it looks like Woman Sex Change. So Google wouldn't put them on their search results.
Kate, along those lines, we have one of our own who's experiencing difficulty with that, and it's Dana Johnson. I just love and adore her, and she and her husband own Consigned by Design, CBD. So CBD is, we all know what that is. And she is now, and whoever would have thought when they named their business and when they started abbreviating it, what would, transpire years and years later. So she's now running into a lot of complications with CBD. So, yes, but on the same token, there's plenty of ways. I said, open up something in your back office, like, let's make some more money off of this. Like, let's ride the wave. But anyway, but the whole idea is that there is, along the lines of what you're initially talking about, there's really inspiration everywhere. There's fabulous marketing slogans, there's signage, there's great ideas, and just all around us. And if you take those ideas and go, oh my gosh, I love this saying, how can I tweak it a little bit, or how can I figure out how to apply this to my own business? I mean, there's just gobs and gobs of great ideas out there everywhere you go.
But you do need to leave yourself open to it. Don't get so focused that you say, this is the way it works for me, it works fine. Be open. Think about, well, maybe it could work better. Well, maybe I could do a little different angle on a twist of something. So be sure to not get so hidebound that you are binding yourself to the level of success that you have now. I'm sure even Melissa, with her $12,000 3-hour live video, is planning to make it better and better. She's not just going to stick to that. She's paying attention to what other people are doing and incorporating it into her success. And of course, every time a resale, consignment, thrift shop has a success, that lifts the level of the reputation of resale higher and higher and higher. So we should always be glad for our competitors and for the acknowledgement they get from the community, and keep on learning, keep on opening ourselves to inspiration. I've stolen a heck of a lot, appropriated. I have tweaked a lot of things from places like ThreadUp. So don't be afraid. Take a look at what your competitors are doing.
Yeah, and it's totally okay to do that. It's not a bad thing. The very large marketing firms and the very large companies, they do it all the time. They look at what their competitors are doing, and you have to stay competitive. And guess what? Your competitors are looking at you. If you think they're not, the smart ones are looking at you as well. And sweet Kelsey Greer is experiencing that, where her competitor didn't recreate. She just is reposting and everything, like almost verbatim from what I understand of what Kelsey's doing. So it's okay to glean ideas, and yes, leave yourself open. And even though you might have tried something in the past and it didn't work, like maybe that just wasn't the right time, or maybe you just weren't doing it right. But don't look at something and go like, oh, we did that in the past and it didn't work. Like, this is a new time. Try it again, or tweak it a little bit. Or if you did postcard mail outs and they didn't work, well, maybe you need to change your verbiage, or maybe, you need to try a different graphic or something on your postcards. Like, just like Kate said, the topic of today's discussion is keep yourself open to inspiration. Try something new. I just got a Lowe's thing in the mail. They've been sending us all year little discounts for moving into our new home. Now we're coming up on a year later, in a few months. I can't believe it's been a year already. We're coming up a year later, and now today I, got something in the mail that said, thank you for, recreating your new home with us. We hope you continue to shop with us in the years to come in your new home. So they tweaked their messaging, and I got a little $10 off $25 or whatever it is.
I got I got a direct mail piece the other day saying, who says you can only have one birthday? And it was my half birthday, sent to me by a clothing store, and said, you are certainly worth having a half birthday, and here's a 20% discount.
Oh my God, I'm thinking of like Tracy Hassett and Neil right now. They have the largest birthday programs that I know of. There could be somebody out there who has even larger birthday programs, but I am thinking of the tens of thousands of postcards that they send out, and like what would happen if they doubled that and sent half birthdays. Anyway, it would just be interesting to see what would happen. Like, maybe they would, get even more sales for the half birthdays. But what a freaking awesome idea. And if you tracked even your consigners, like, congratulations, you've been, happy anniversary. You've been consigning with us for a year now, or whatever. I don't know if that information goes into people's systems when someone consigns. I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, yeah, there's always a start date for a consignment account.
A consignment. Okay, great. So everyone realistically could do that. They could go back and sort their accounts by start date and send cards out or something. So anyway, great topic today, Kate. Kudos to Kate for this awesome topic. I loved it. And I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. I'm kind of on the idea now we should talk about maybe some postcard mailers or something. Like, if you can find some of your favorite mailer. I keep a file of mailers, so maybe we could come next week with some samples of some different mailers that we've gotten and like. I don't know what you think about that. But
yeah, that'd be a good idea. I think a lot of people discount postcards. They discount newspaper advertising. discount radio advertising, thinking that everybody's on Facebook simply because they're on Facebook all day. They forget about, people don't always go on Facebook. People don't pay attention to it. A lot of people don't want to be on it. A lot of people go on it, once a month to see how the grandkids are doing. So yeah, that might be a good topic. Let's talk about direct mail next week.
Next week, direct mail. All right. So if you have any comments about today's little Kate and Colleen show, share them below. If you have any questions, if you even want to share some of your ideas, like, hey, I took this idea. And again, it's really okay. I know we all use that sort of phrase of like, oh, I stole this from blah, blah, blah. It's really not. It's really, really, really okay. The majority of ideas today that we have, inventions that we have, that we all use, they're borrowed, they're improved upon, they're tweaked. So go out there.
They're recycled.
Recycled ideas. Share your recycled ideas. Awesome. I love that. Recycled ideas. Kate, have a super fantastic week. And if you're interested, Kate and I are just going to try something new on her page right now. I don't know if it's going to work, so it's an experiment, but you're welcome to head over to egtbt.com on Facebook. Is that the page on Facebook?
Let's try it on my personal page.
Oh, your personal page. Okay, head over to Kate's personal page. We're going to try something, and it could be something cool and new that you all might be interested in. So head over there. Totally experimental right now. So we're going to test out something new, technology that may be available now on Facebook Live. We'll let you know. So have a great week, everyone. Kate, final thoughts, anything?
Say bye now, and as I said, keep yourself open. Talk on you later.
Bye, everyone. Oh, now I forgot how to get up. Oh, here we go. End. Let's just hit the end button. Bye, everyone.